So many eventful races here in Barcelona over the years. Do you remember Max Verstappen's first win on debut for Red Bull here in 2016? 2 years before, we had the dramatic coming together of Hamilton and Rosberg going towards turn 4. There's always a treat in store as we head back to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and the popular opinion in the paddock is that we never wanted the chicane in the first place. That's now been gone, the final corner is much faster, and at 2.9 miles and 14 turns, we await the Spanish Grand Prix. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. Edging out Lando Norris, he'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Hamilton, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Ocon, Albon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Bottas, Magnussen, Joe, Sargent, Leclerc, Stroll, Hülkenberg, and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And alongside me for this afternoon's commentary, Naomi Schiff. Good afternoon, Nose. Let's look at their season, and particularly against their teammate. Fair to say, they've got the better of them more often than not. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, every driver certainly has their own way of preparing themselves before a race. But I can tell you that pre-race rituals are a real thing. When I was in go-karting, I used to touch every wheel in a specific sequence before I got into the kart. And then I stepped up to cars and had a specific set of fireproof base layers just for race day. So watch the drivers when they're on the grid. Some may be sitting on the floor and isolating, others may be up to other things that they do. But these little things really help their minds get ready for the race.
With some luck, we might just be able to work our way up the field, but we need a good start. Keep it clean, okay? DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. Experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible. Okay, good work. Great pass. Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums. Gap to your teammate behind, 2.8 seconds. Okay, Charles, I know you've had a couple of offs, but don't worry about it. Get your head down and let's just focus on keeping the next few laps within the white lines. Okay, be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tyre grip anytime now. Okay, we want you to pit this lap, so push now, push. Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach and make sure you don't speed. We didn't quite get what we needed out of that, I'm afraid, but don't worry about it. There's a long way to go. Chin up and let's focus till the end. Our last stop, no more scheduled pit stops, let's go. Okay, you're in the top 10. Carlos is in the pits. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 7.9 seconds. work. That's a new fastest lap of the race. Okay, Charles, we've got some clear track around us now, so let's use it and make this next lap a quick one. Let's go. Oh, mate, great stuff. You hit that target. That sets us up nicely for the rest of this race. Gap to your teammate behind, 0.3 seconds. Okay, so all of our tyre pressure data is currently reading 0. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess that it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry about. Some information on Perez. Okay, they're out of this race. Caution! Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead. Okay, you've just started the final lap of the race. Final lap. Okay, clear.
checkered flag.
Oh, this race was really difficult.
It's another victory and a champion's performance from Max Verstappen.
And it's one thing to win, but to win like that in total dominant style, that was a fantastic drive, and it is not one that we see very often.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.